and today I'll be talking to you about my research on Italy, in particular its cultural diversity issues. I chose Italy because I've lived there on numerous occasions. However, sadly enough, I did not immerse myself into the culture as well as I could have. To most, Italy is known for its fine cuisine, tourist areas such as Florence, Milan, Venice, or maybe even the Vatican, or perhaps their Carnival festival, professional soccer teams, or even as being the fashion capital of the world, being home to Versace, Armani, Prada, and Gucci. Of course, most of us can point to Italy on the map because of its unique boot shape. But Italy is so much more diverse than what we generally see or hear about. While Italy is rich in history, it does have its share of cultural diversity issues. Today I would like to explore some of those issues with you. Today I will go over the following: Italy's culture as a whole, the Italian language, the political landscape in Italy, economics, Italy's stance on gender and sexuality, and finally, religion. So let's begin. First, we will begin with Italian culture. Italy has been the name of this region for over 3,000 years. Greek civilization dominated southern Italy around 600 BC, and much of the Greek culture was adopted by the Romans. Italian culture is steeped in arts, family, architecture, music, and of course food. In Italy, family is an extremely important value within their culture, as Italians enjoy family gatherings. Italian cuisine has influenced food culture around the world and is viewed as an art form by many. However, Italian cuisine is as diverse by regions as each has their own take on what Italian food is. For example, as most Americans view Italian food as pizza and spaghetti, these come from central Italy. In northern Italy, fish, potatoes, rice, and cheeses are the predominant dishes. In southern Italy, tomatoes, capers, peppers, and eggplants are the predominant dishes. Language. The official language of Italy is Italian, with about 93% of the population speaking it as their native language. Modern Italian originally evolved from spoken Latin. However, the Italian language is as diverse as the Italian regions, with about 34 native languages and dialects within regions of Italy. As you can see from the slide, the dialects are very diverse and do not lend themselves to conversations from region to region. Other common languages spoken in Italy are Albanian, Bavarian, Croatian, French, and German. Due to the heavy migration to Italy, not only other languages, but a myriad of ethnic groups are pouring into Italy. In 2017, Romania and Albania had 1.1 million and 448,000 immigrants respectively. Also in 2015, there were 500,000 immigrants from the Middle East. These surges have caused anti-immigrant sentiments on both the right and left-wing parties. Asylum camps are forming where they are receiving many amenities such as room and board, cell phones, and vocational lessons. Some of the immigrants have been reported as robbing, harassing, or threatening honest Italians. For those on the left, they are looking towards the Pope, who urges Italians to show greater hospitality towards the migrants and refugees. Additionally, the migrants are causing a financial strain on an already fragile economy. Italy's foreign residents are outpacing the country's population growth, the foreign population that grew 7.4% in 2012, compared to a population growth of just 0.5% for Italians. Coupled with the massive immigration from the end of the 19th century through the 1960s, it is estimated that nearly 5 million Italian-born people live abroad. These statistics indicate a need for greater cultural diversity and tolerance in the coming years. Politics. Italy has been a democratic republic since 1946, and their constitution was founded in 1948. It is a multi-party parliamentary republic. It is comprised of the head of or chief of state, the president of Italy, legislative branch, executive branch, and judicial branch, while the prime minister is the head of the government. Italy has a flawed democracy and has been recently rated among the least efficient in the world alongside Ukraine, Greece, and Venezuela. Since World War II, Italy has had 66 governments. This can be attributed to suspected connections between the mafia and Italian politics. In 2013, the rise of women in parliament went from 20% to 30%. However, in a recent article regarding women in politics, Sofia Ventura, professor of political science at the University of Bologna, stated, "The image of women hasn't really improved in Italy. It's still rare to find women who have authoritative roles in the media and political system. On the contrary, things have gone backwards." End quote. Sexism and gender comments are treated as normal, or not even recognized as such, is the result of a deeply macho culture. Political extremists are once again on the rise, with such neo-fascist groups as the Forza Nueva, who have exploited fears of refugees and attempt to further exploit its xenophobic policies. These types of groups bring back memories of the far-left terrorist groups, the Red Brigades, during the 70s and 80s, with its goal of replacing Italy's democratic, capitalistic government with dictatorship. Again, diversity and inclusion would be a much-needed value-added dimension to propelling Italy to a world leader in politics and cultural diversity. Economics. Italy's economy has started to expand once again, but is still one of the worst performers in the Eurozone. Economic growth in terms of GDP has been picking up since 2014. However, the pace of growth is weaker when compared to other major European economies. In Italy, there are extreme contrasts between the rich and poor. The population is stratified by income. Unemployment rates are a major concern in southern Italy, ranging from 17% to 29% in the most southern regions. It appears that the migrants arriving in Italy are also causing a financial strain on an already fragile economy. Perhaps a deep study, implementation, and inclusion of migrants could help propel the economy by creating jobs, even part-time, in the fields of fashion, food, and cars, where Italy has had a reputation for excellence in these exports all over the world. Gender and sexuality. Italy has had a poor record on gender equality and considered the worst in Europe. This is even though Italian women have more advanced degrees than men. Women are still fighting against the proverbial glass ceiling. Italy ranks worst in all of Europe for equality between men and women, even behind developing countries such as Ghana, Malawi, and Vietnam. As addressed previously, women in Italy comprise a very small percentage of political representatives. This has been attributed to the media's casting of women in a chauvinistic and stereotypical light. In addition, there are no policies for women to balance both professions and family life. In Italy, the gender roles are very traditional. Women tend to the home and family while the men work. However, it seems that the public is uninterested in women's rights. This is met by lack of awareness and the will to do anything about it. Italy has a long history of treating women as sexual objects, and this cultural trait has a long-reaching grasp even in today's Italian society. In the Italian LGBT community, it appears that their rights are almost on par with their heterosexual counterparts, such as changing gender is legal, no employment discrimination based on sexual orientation, no laws against homosexual activity, and the ability to change legal gender without surgery. However, as of this date, there are no same-sex adoption policies. They are only afforded for stepchild adoption only. There is an Italian Coalition for Civil Liberties and Rights, which was surprisingly only founded in 2014. The organization includes 30 national civil liberty society organizations working on migration and international protection of migrants, LGBT rights, freedom of expression, and prisoner rights. Religion. Italy is a Christian country with 88% of the population belong to the Roman Catholic Church. Of the 88%, only about one-third of them regard themselves as active in religious terms. Surprisingly, Italy has no state-recognized or official religion. In addition, recent polls show that approximately 14% of the population consider themselves to be atheists or agnostic. The picture on the slide is the Vatican, located in Rome. The Vatican is the home of the government of the Roman Catholic Church and of the Pope, the spiritual leader of the world's Roman Catholics. Not surprisingly, the Catholic Church enjoys considerable influence, partly by virtue of a historical tradition that has seen the Church of Rome as a constant in government and the organization of public life. Other religions that are practiced include Protestants and Jewish. However, Jehovah's Witnesses form the second largest denomination among native-born citizens. As relayed previously in this presentation, increased immigration has led to some anti-immigrant sentiment toward Italy's mainly Muslim immigrants. An estimated 1.4 million Muslims from North America, South Asia, Albania, and the Middle East, which make Islam this country's de facto second largest religion. However, Italy does not formally recognize Islam. The effects of this include mosques receiving no public funds, Islamic weddings have no legal value, and Muslim workers are not entitled to take religious holidays off. However, there's a unique path forward that can change all that. Muslim organizations will need to create a registry and will be required to preach in Italian. No other religious groups have been asked to hold sermons in Italian. According to a recent survey, 69% of Italians have a negative opinion of Muslims, the highest in Europe. Also, local media associates Islam as a whole with terrorism. In conclusion, with Italy's rich history dating back 3,000 years, known for its renowned cuisine, popular tourist locations, and a haven for fashion and style, Italy has some cultural diversity issues that have been overtly exposed. Today we covered its rich value and how Greece heavily influenced today's Italian culture, from food to art to architecture, and even the diverse Italian food preferences by region. We covered the Italian language and the many diverse dialects throughout the region. I covered the immigrants that are pouring into Italy and creating anti-immigrant sentiments among some Italians. The fact is even highlighted with migrants coming through the borders, while simultaneously outpacing Italy's own population growth. We discussed Italian politics and the need for more inclusion of women in politics, which is overshadowed by the traditional Italian male machismo. We then moved to economics, where Italy is lagging behind most European nations. With the unemployment rate much higher in the southern region of Italy, the way to mitigate this is to use the immigration concerns to fill these gaps. Next, we talked about Italy's record on gender and sexuality, which has a poor report card. While Italy embraces the traditional roles of women supporting the household and children, while the men go to work, the proverbial glass ceiling is very much alive for women for professional opportunities such as government and the media sectors. Finally, we discussed religion in Italy. While Roman Catholic is a predominant religion, with 88%, there are only about one-third that are actually actively practicing. Once again, with the heavy immigration in recent history, Islam is now the de facto second largest religion. I've learned that with all of Italy's beauty, fine architecture, and exquisite cuisine, they have very serious cultural diversity issues. Italy's way forward. While most of Italy's cultural diversity issues stem from a deep tradition, especially regarding women's roles, a new diversity issue with immigration is taking shape quickly in Italy. Italy must learn and embrace cultural diversity. They must figure out a way to maximize their immigration issues and live in peace, true harmony, or exercise tolerance. If not, Italy is on a collision path to its own demise. Conversely, immigrants must be able to assimilate quickly into their new country. If common ground cannot be found through conversation and humane dialogue, perhaps common ground can be found through exclusivism, moral truth in each one's face to find a common bond. This concludes my briefing on Italy. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did in doing the research and presenting it. Ciao.